Ladies and gentlemen, patriots and sweater vest enthusiasts, welcome back to another episode of Red, Rights, and You. I'm your host, Tim Andrews, and today we're bringing you a recap of what might be the most wholesome Heartland America event since Ronald Reagan lassoed inflation with nothing but optimism and cowboy grit. We're talking about the Lincoln Dinner. This event is held all across America, and this one was proudly hosted by the Republican Party of Medina County. The food was hot, the people were fired up, and the speaker owns more vests than you'll see at a Bass Pro Shop grand opening. But first things first, I want to give a big patriotic thank you to Melissa Augustine, the new executive director of the Medina County GOP. I popped into their headquarters the day before the dinner to ask a couple of quick questions and walked out nearly 2 hours later, having solved half the nation's political problems and making a new friend in the process. Melissa, you were gracious, helpful, and genuinely passionate. Conservatives take note. Kindness and competence can still coexist. Now, the event itself, despite a few feedback moments with the sound system, it went off without a hitch. If Biden had run the show, we'd probably still be looking for the microphone. So congratulations to everyone involved. This was my first Lincoln Dinner, but it surely won't be my last. Chairman Jim Renacci was our master of ceremonies. Jim and his team were absolutely top-notch. Past keynote speakers have included Laura Trump and Donald Trump Jr., so the bar was already sky high. But let me tell you, this year's speaker, Lieutenant Governor and legendary coach Jim Tressel, absolutely nailed it. I haven't seen that kind of poise since the 2002 Buckeyes took the field against Miami in the national championship game. Before dinner, Coach Tressel sat down for a little Q&A, and Mark and I asked a few gems. Everything from what do you want to be when you grow up to where do you get those iconic sweater vests? And he didn't blink at one. I even asked which coaching skill helped him most in politics. He gave an answer so thoughtful it made CNN spontaneously combust. He said intentional listening is key in every arena, politics, coaching, and even probably family dinner. He used an acronym with his players and staff, WAYT. What are you thinking? He said two things happen when you ask someone what they're thinking, and they're both good. One is you might get a great idea. And two, you might correct bad information. And he used game tape because in football and politics, facts still matter. As a university president, he did the same thing, just swapped out the game tape for data. The man is like if Nick Saban and Jordan Peterson had a baby and raised it on liberty and scripture. During his keynote, Coach brought the house down with a whole new acronym. GOP. G is for gratitude. Keep a list of your blessings, one a day. Just do it. O is for opportunity. Ohio's pendulum has swung back and 63 companies have moved or expanded here. Hundreds of thousands of jobs are on the way. That's right, jobs, not government checks. And then P is for perspective. With all this opportunity, we need to keep talent in Ohio. His message? Leadership is action to serve others. Now, that's the kind of public service we could use in D.C. And can we talk about his wife, Ellen? Sharp as a tack and hilarious to boot. She said the only thing Coach Tressel has ever failed at is retirement. The man just keeps showing up for America like it's fourth and goal every single day. Two things impressed me the most. First and foremost, his deep-rooted faith in God. He reminded us that while sports halls of fame fade, the names etched in God's Hall of Fame are eternal. Two, he doesn't let football define him. He talked about Youngstown State with as much pride as Ohio State, and that, my friends, is humility in action. So thank you again to everyone who made the evening so memorable. You filled the room with purpose, patriotism, and a tasty dinner. And that, my friends, is a winning combination. Now let me bring in the man who was there right alongside me, asking questions like Peter Ducey and shaking hands like he was running for office himself, my co-host, Mark Mosgrove. Mark, did Coach Tressel inspire you to get a sweater vest, or are you still holding out for the mega hoodie collection?
Well, I was beyond impressed in Lieutenant Governor Tressel, aka Coach Tressel, aka President of a university Tressel. He's done a lot of things. I was the one that asked him, what do you want to be when you grow up? And right away he had an answer. And in that short time, we got to talk to him in the little VIP part. I don't know the numbers. The VIP part was maybe 40. He came in and he talked a little bit and then opened up for questions. And I asked not the typical questions like, what was your favorite moment? What game was the best? I asked him live questions and he did not miss a beat. By the end, he asked me a couple questions back. So we had a short conversation, even though we didn't have it necessarily one-on-one. But he's very intuitive. He is an excellent listener, because later after the dinner, and we went over to get his picture, he immediately went back to what was talked about. I was impressed. I never played football, but if he had been my coach, I would have ran through a wall for the guy. And let's not lose sight of his wife, Ellen. I did get a chance to talk to her a little bit one-on-one. And I said, for any successful person, there's always the partner who helps make it happen and does all the sacrifices for that person. And it really is a package deal. One person's success is really the couple's success. She was gracious and she put her head down. You could tell she appreciated the appreciation. When you're talking celebrities, you think people are always buttering them up because they want things from them. But I did not get the sense from Jim and Ellen Tressel. They seem like the real deal. I would love to have them on a podcast. I would love to have a regular podcast with one or both of them, because they have so many good nuggets of information, of inspiring things to say. Sometimes with coaches, they'll tend to repeat themselves because that's their go-to. But I got the sense in that they're both so sharp and helpful. The Republican Party of Ohio is well served by him being lieutenant governor. That's what came out of it. Other than I'm originally from Medina County, and it was nice to go back home. It was nice to get back in that arena because I was a little bit in my 20s. I encourage everyone to get involved, particularly on the local level in politics, because everybody wants to make a difference, and they get on a bus and go somewhere to protest. But where things happen is locally. I encourage everyone to find, if or when there's a Lincoln dinner. I know some places it's called the Reagan dinner. Some places it's called the Lincoln Reagan dinner. Go there, meet people, show some support, and it makes you realize that you're not alone in your thinking and beliefs. Sometimes in your life, if you're around family members or neighbors and they don't think the same way you do, when you go to a dinner like that, you realize there's a lot of people that think and feel the same way and have the same values.
People making a difference. Melissa really impressed me as wanting to do that. She's a lovely lady, very helpful, very nice. She's going to do a wonderful job. Yet another strong, intelligent Republican woman furthering the cause. If somebody does want to get involved, you can certainly contact us or send us a message. We can get you hooked up with the right person or people. The thing that really impresses me too with Coach Tressel is, while football was what everybody remembers him being, a great coach and winning 5 national championships, 4 with Youngstown State, a smaller school, and then going on to Ohio State. he's not the kind of person that lets that define his life. He looks to be the kind of person that is always looking for a new challenge. He's been successful at whatever he's done. When you think about it, the same traits that make a great football coach are the traits that make somebody a good leader. When you look at a coach normally, they're a coach forever. They're getting promoted through the ranks or demoted, but they don't want to do anything other than being a football coach. They may be a head football coach, they get fired, they go back down to being a position coach, then they get promoted to offensive or defensive coordinator, or they move to a different team or from college to pro, but they're a coach and that's it. He moved on to administrative position with, I think it was Akron, and then the president of Youngstown State. And then when they were enjoying their retirement, I think you remember Ellen saying that he told her that Governor DeWine had called and asked him if he would be interested in the lieutenant governor's position that Husted vacated when he went to the Senate. Instead of saying, hey, let's enjoy our retirement, you've worked hard enough, or you're too old to do that, she said, it looks like God's got more work for you to do. It's really made an impression on me as a coach, a man, a husband, and a leader. I think he did a great job.
One thing that stuck with me is when Governor DeWine talked to him about filling the position of lieutenant governor, Jim Tressel told him words to the effect of, well, I've never been a lieutenant governor before. What do I do? And DeWine's answer was, whatever I tell you to do, that's what you do. And he's like, okay, I got it. No ego. I got it.
And he said DeWine was trying to get him prepared because if something would happen to DeWine, then the lieutenant governor, which in this case is Jim Tressel, would have to take that governor's seat. His response was, I prayed 3 times a day for Mike DeWine to make sure he's healthy and safe, because I saw all the different things that a governor's responsible for and has to do. I thought that was classic stuff. Just a normal guy, but a great leader, wasn't stumped by any of the questions, was very charismatic. That equates to politics or business, somebody like that in any position. They're just really good leaders.
He gets enjoyment out of the players and the people he's been associated with. And it's not just about winning football games. It's about winning in life. He had, I think he said, 1,000 players through his career. And seeing them winning at life is what gives him a lot of satisfaction. I joked with him about the winning, and then he's got the sweater vest going. He's kind of like Mr. Rogers 2.0. It's pretty much the same like with Mr. Rogers. It's about those basic core things, and he embodies it. He does it. From what we see, we don't know him personally. There'll be somebody that'll say, oh, I saw him in the airport one time and he was snotty to me or something like that, because there's always going to be someone like that. But you could tell his wife adores him, because as he was talking, she stood there and she was with what he was saying. It wasn't like, we have to do this thing and I'm standing here because I have to stand here. She was intellectually engaged. And that makes them a power couple, and something that married couples could emulate is how the Tressels.
And he wasn't offended by the Mr. Rogers comment either. He said the only difference is he wears cardigan and I wear a sweater vest, right? Yeah. How you can tell that he's so respected is what his peers think about him. I don't know if it was you or someone else, but somebody asked him about what he would be doing. And he said before he got this phone call, he had 15 coaches that were calling him all the time and asking him questions. He had 15 different teams that he was consulting for. He says, I was probably the most popular non-paid consultant in the country. All these people were calling him, asking his opinion. You never had to worry about clipping your fingernails when he was a coach. He was a strategist. He didn't care if it was elaborate. Wherever the percentages were, whatever got the job done, that's what he did as a coach. It didn't have to be fancy. There were very few routes that national championship game. I don't know how many heart attacks were caused. That was very stressful, but he just ran the numbers, the odds, the proper plays, and did the right thing. That doesn't just equate to football. I think he's done that in every position that he has ever enjoyed, and confident he'll do that in the future.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan.
Oh, Ohio is lucky to have him.
Right.
Jim Tressel was not a politician it's not like that, that he had
Right.
been in all these roles, being elected, always running for office. He's just done his jobs and has been successful. And then he was asked to be lieutenant governor, and and he's taking it with humility and honor. And that's what you want. You want your leaders to be servants. And he sure is. Other states need to start voting people in like Jim Tressel. But they don't have to be a football coach, but start voting and bringing people in that are real people.
Right.
That don't need politics. Those are the kind of people that we need to have in office.
They do what's right, and they're qualified to do what's right.
Yes.
People are asking if he's going to run for governor. That's always a possibility, but those are long odds with Ramaswamy coming in, being endorsed by Trump. And he's also a very intelligent, smart guy, businessman. We haven't had the opportunity to talk to him yet, but I would love to do that. But there's always a place for somebody like Tressel. Use these people as resources to make the country better. The position that they're in is secondary to the ability they have to get things done and improve the country.
Right.
We wanted to give a bit of insight with the Republican Party and the Lincoln Day dinner. They go on all around the country. Like Mark said, down south especially, they said the Reagan-Lincoln dinner. I think they're still a little tender about what happened in the Civil War at times. Many people don't realize that Abraham Lincoln was the very first Republican president this nation ever had, and did some really good things.
But yeah, according to Tim Walz, he was not as qualified as Kamala Harris to be president.
That's a whole other issue. But Mark, to wrap this up, all I really want to say to you is OH.
I-O.
All right. Thanks again, Mark, for being with me. If you all get a chance to get involved with local politics, that's where the changes are made. That's where it all starts. I would really encourage you to do it. If you get a chance to go to some of these events, there's the Lincoln Day dinner, but that's just one. Through the year, there's other events. We reach people all over the country and the world. But if there is a local Republican headquarters, contact them and they can tell you how to get involved, whether it's hosting, assisting, or just the party goings on. It opens your eyes. You see what's happening in the area. And if you want to contribute, you can certainly do that. So reach out and contact them.
And if your county or community doesn't have a Lincoln dinner, if you have the means to get one going, it's a great opportunity to bring people together. The Democrats, in fairness, have their equivalent. I don't remember what it's called. Jefferson dinner or something like that. If you have that persuasion and you want to go help them, you can, but I don't think it's going to be the same as it was to the one we went to, because everything about it was just impressive. And it was a bunch of positive people. I would imagine if I went to the Democrat dinner, it'd just be a bunch of people bitching about Trump and being all mad. Well, why would you want to be around people like that? Mad all the time.
Maybe they would have a table up front of "I hate Trump" merch.
They probably
I'm putting
would.
it mildly. They may use a little stronger language, but I can't see you walking out of there clapping your hands and being real positive and joyous.
No, I would feel like I just got out of a funeral, because they are also hateful. But you know what? If they go low, we go high, right?
Yeah, that sounds familiar. Isn't that what they used to? Well, hypocrisy has no bounds with the Democrat Party. Thank you so much for being with us again for this special edition. I hope you enjoyed it. Jim Tressel, great guy. The people that put on the event, the staff at the Galaxy, our thanks go out to them for making us feel so welcome. And Melissa for giving me more insight on what was going on. Hopefully we can have her on a future podcast. But Until next time, stay the course, stay strong, and stay patriotic. Mark, again, thank you. And thank you for
Thank
being
you.
my date for the event. I really appreciate it.
No
And
corsage.
I know I promised I was going to pin a corsage on you, but I was in a hurry. Maybe next time. All right.
That's what they all say. Wait till you come and meet the family.
God bless you all, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.